Hey everybody, how's it going? It must be Thursday. Here we are on WebDM Twitch playing some Land Between Two Rivers. I hope that everyone is doing great out there and that your week finds you well here in this year 2019. Let's go around. We've got a new overlay, so I feel the need to do a new order of introductions. And guess what? Going clockwise, TK, that makes you first. How you doing?
You knew. You were like, guess who's not paying attention to the intros? It's TK. It's me. I wasn't paying attention. I have Tony Braxton's Unbreak My Heart stuck in my head, so it's just for different reasons.
That is my jam. Oh.
Right, now it's stuck in your head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Undo this hurt. Come on.
Why don't you sing it for us, Josh?
Do it, yes.
Just do it. Belt it out.
Rap it for us.
I can't hit her. I can't hit her highs or lows, frankly. No. Oh, she's got a great voice.
She is, in fact, a goddess.
She is.
Easily.
Yeah, having a great time. Happy to be Ikki. I'm missing my precious daughter, but that's okay. I'm sure she's somewhere happy and safe.
Certainly. Absolutely. Nothing to worry about at all. Josh, how are you doing?
He's off camera.
Oh, yes, you are off camera. It looks like you're eating, perhaps enjoying a bit of some food and getting ready to play a game. I'll take that as a yes.
I'm sorry, I just got off work, so.
No, that's all right. That's perfectly fine.
Okay, I'm Josh, and I'm playing Innocent, and I'm excited to be here. And yeah, that's about it.
Excellent. That sounds
awesome.
That sounds really really great. And there we go. Anna is not with us tonight, off doing IRL things, and whatever it is that people do in the life that they have to live in order to have any kind of life at all. So we wish her the best, and can't wait to play with her again. And that takes us to Grant. How are you tonight?
Well, I'm moving and grooving, breaking necks and cashing checks. That's just the way I roll. I'm happy to be here. It was a very stressful day, filled with all sorts of exciting things like processing weird reports for researchers at the University of Chicago. But now I'm focusing on the task at hand, which is the Land Between Two Rivers. And I've hit new levels of paranoia in this campaign where someone says, we should stop at the Drow outpost. I'm like, they're all going to assassinate me when I get there. We're going to show up. Myr's going to stab me in the spleen. Ikki's going to stick me in her backpack again, and they're going to turn me over to the Drow. And I would do the same in their shoes. I don't think it's that bad.
Pissed off the Drow?
I don't know.
Wait a second. What do you mean?
But I pissed off Myr.
Oh, no, it's just Myr.
Yeah. You're already in our shoes. What do you mean that you would do the same? We're the same. Are you going to assassinate us?
I can't tell. Sometimes I have Land Between Two River dreams, and I misbehave in those dreams. And I worry that I'm going to pay for it, and then I start to lose track of what Gildon has thought about doing and what he's actually done. And I don't know.
Yeah, I've had that. Yes, I have similar problems.
Gildon's become the Hunter S. Thompson of the campaign.
That's actually a great way to put it. Except, a little less destructive, I guess.
We'll find out. So yeah, I'm hanging in there.
Excellent. Glad to hear it. And Lindy, how are you this Thursday?
I am ready for some Dungeons and Dragons. I've had a day, so I'm just ready to play. I'm super excited to be stepping back into the shoes of Myr Valentine. She doesn't have a specific reason to sell Gildon to the Drow and often, but if he gives her one, you better believe she wouldn't hesitate. So.
Oh, certainly, yeah. No hesitation whatsoever. Excellent. Glad to hear everybody seems to be doing all right. And before we get started here, I'd like to remind everybody and thank our sponsor for the show, Tabletop Loot. Go and check them out for your dice and dice accessory needs. And as we say all the time, they're constantly getting in new stuff and always like trying to add more things to their repertoire of game aids and dice for your game. So go and check them out and use the WebBM15 code. Get a little discount on us. Last time we played, we did a little bit of running around Trade Town, talking to some folks, gathering some information, and planting the seeds for further adventure. One hopes. There was an epic wrestling match in a warehouse over in the Orc Quarter. A new assignment for Myrrh, as she's been sent to be the eyes and ears of the Fellowship up north, and several what seem to be intriguing figures who approached the party. These arcane pilgrims that you've seen all over the place with their robes of tattered cloth and sort of mysterious ways, being one of those. And so when we had left the party, they were traveling northwards and were just north of the Fellowship territory, right on the edge of the desert that spreads north from the Tree of Andrus. And it was there, after having talked to some refugees, that Myrrh noticed a small and slinky creature with a arched back, 6 limbs, and a sort of a smushed face. It introduced itself as a representative of Duke Phimius, the Infernal Duke that had requested a favor, in a certain sense, from Myrrh.
Yep.
And so as the group is traveling northward on their way towards this region that is war-torn, and then beyond towards Tengreth and the City of Ghouls, we will pick up here as they're just beginning their journey. And so you guys are in the desert right now. Depending on which way you went, if you continue going straight north, you will reach Lodestone, actually, before you reach any other locations. You could switch direction and get to either Fool's Hope or go like northeast towards the Drow Outpost. Those are sort of like the 3 biggest settlements that are in your path right now. So I know that last time you had Mollymock he was going upriver.
He was going to scout, yeah.
He was going to scout and also, sort of like make some contacts amongst the Drow, but then mostly head north to do some scouting while you all were talking to some of the refugees. And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, headed to the Drow Outpost. But I just want to make sure that everybody was on the same page for that one.
Yeah, I think definitely still headed towards the Drow Outpost to get intel, because we got to go past Jando's Rock to get to where Gildon wants to go, and so might as well go in fully informed.
Sure.
Whatever it is the Drow know.
Sure.
You stock more rations.
Okay. So your skiff does not do very well over water. Crossing a river, just from shore to shore, it does all right, but sort of traveling upriver, the air elemental that's bound to the skiff forgets that what's going on, and sort of like sees the water as like, oh, I could just make bubbles and it would be so fun. It's not repelled. Like, we were flying over the sand, it's like, I don't want anything to do with this earth. Like, there's no place for me there.
But it wants to make bubbles.
It is it attempts to escape more
Mm-hmm.
when over water, and so makes traveling upriver difficult. However, you can skim along the surface of the canyon and then reach the outpost by the top instead of the canyon. So that trip takes about a day and a half from where you are, and you pass by several other refugee camps, and as well as sort of like streaming groups of people, mostly traveling westward, which would be towards the outpost. But they are all of them fleeing from the north, is where they seem to be fleeing from. The closer you get to the outpost, the more of them you find. Is there anything that y'all want to do in that day and a half period, or are you just focused on travel?
So I know we elected to go past Lodestone. Did we? I assume we slept at some point.
yeah.
Have I seen any signs from Molly Mock?
If Ikki wanted to pause at Lodestone, Mer definitely would have been like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll stop the skiff.
A pause
Okay,
just
sure.
briefly.
Ikki wants the fellow mom wants the skiff to stop. I'll stop the skiff.
Yeah. Mom bond.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty much a straight shoot north from the tree to Lodestone, and Lodestone itself is this. It's kind of like tucked away in a depression amongst a bunch of low hills. Otherwise, everything around it's very flat, but there's this like gouging out of the earth, and someone has built a wall of like scrap in between what looks like the ribs of some kind of creature that are sticking up out of the ground. And so in the spaces between, they've piled up enough debris and found material to make a wall. And then that's sort of the first thing that you see. The wall is seems very sturdy, and also looks like it's got all kinds of pitted marks on it and gouges and the like. Are you approaching the town on foot or through the skiff, or while you're on the skiff?
Probably on the skiff, unless
Yeah. Molly said that they had gone out drinking, and then Rix and Stinker had both left while drinking, and then only Stinker had come back.
Yeah, Stanker had come back and was basically like, it's my crew now. And
so they were probably drinking in town. Do we see any signs of camps outside?
You saw some on the way here, but nothing that's like really within inside of the walls or anything like that.
Okay.
This place is pretty well hidden away, although you recognize like game trails and footpaths and things like that the closer you get to it.
Dang. I forgot to ask him how long Rix has supposedly been dead. Since it's been like 90 days.
It seems like the impression you got is fairly recently. Like,
okay.
The impression that at least Mur got was that this happened, and then he was like, I don't want any part of this, and then he traveled from here to Trade Town, which would have taken on foot probably like 4 days.
Okay.
So it's less than a week since this potentially could have happened.
So then there's no side of like a campfire or anything outside of the city walls then, or town walls, village walls?
As you're zooming by on the skiff, it's difficult to tell. If you wanted to take some time and really search the area, you might be able to find something.
Nah, Ikki knows they got to get drink from somewhere.
Okay.
So they probably wouldn't carry it with them. They probably go in town for drinks at least.
Mm-hmm. There are a pair of armed guards. You can tell that they are, these are sort of the monster worshipping types here. And they've scarred themselves up and inserted what appear to be like objects, maybe obsidian or bone or something, into their, just underneath their skin. Give the appearance of horns and ridges and things like that. And the two of them sort of look at you and, you here for a trade or something else? Speaking, I guess, to whoever wishes to answer, the group of you.
Supplies trade.
And they look down at you and the rest of them.
I make sure my horns are like, in the right angle with the sun.
Come up from the south then. Come inside. And they open up the gate. There's a modest crowd of people inside this walled compound. It appears as though most of the buildings in here are ramshackle and rather haphazard. But a space has been cleared out just on the other side of the entrance, where a number of people have set out like carpets and mats and the like, and have engaged in a bit of an impromptu bazaar. Most of the people here are wasteland barbarians. They are not particularly friendly towards people from the lands of the Fellowship, and you kind of get that sense of it being standoffish or aloofish as you enter.
They're all icky.
Yeah,
Every single one.
They're just dour-faced wasteland scavengers and hunters and things like that. And it appears as though there is a large number of them. They are all armed, and a great many of them are along the walls. It looks as if they're keeping some kind of watch out. So there's other Outlanders and the like are here, but most of them are these Wastelander types.
Ikki will turn to Myrrh and the rest of them and just guard your purse. Walk like me.
I'm going to try to go talk to one of the guys on the wall.
Okay. Just the nearest one, or are you looking for something in particular?
No, just the nearest one.
There's a knot of them that are near the gate. There's a taller watchtower further down the wall there, and looks like they're making their way towards there, but some of them are kind of like dawdling and the like. You catch up with them if you like, but they are otherwise not really paying attention to any of you Outlanders.
Well, I'll stop one of them and ask him, what are you afraid of?
There's an army of devils out there. We've seen them nearby. What news do you bring from the south?
Actually, what news has there been in the last 90 days?
I'm scared about them devils too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have any news for him then?
I'm trying to remember what was the big thing besides the devils.
I mean, I don't know that there was anything else. There's certainly the trade town seemed to be experiencing a period of sort of calmness, and not much has been going on really since the attack by Lang.
Yeah.
There hasn't really been much.
Myrrh's pretty much going to be like, if anyone talks to her about anything, be like, ugh, these Fellowship lands that are incredibly peaceful right now. It's boring.
Mm-hmm.
Hates having to spend time down there.
Sitting pretty in their lands while the rest of us have to. Yeah, everyone will take a moment to grumble about the.
Just disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That was pretty much what he was looking for.
Yeah.
Or what they were looking for. He was hoping to not. They were hoping to not, like, what's the word? Run into an ambush, I guess. Kind of like last time.
Right. Yeah. Sure. The impression you get is that there is there's groups of them really very close to the west, that they've been spotted very recently, and that they're on the lookout because they expect them any day now to arrive.
Well, do you think that they will take this place?
That's what you asked them. Yes. Mm-hmm. They all look at. We don't think so. We have strong walls, and the spirit of our great beast protects us here.
What beast is that?
He points to the bones on the wall. Like a giant rib, like juts up 15 feet from the ground. It anchors, these two sections of wall. And they're all over the place here. It's not just these ribs. You can see what you think might be ridges of a spinal column. And closer towards, or rather further into the village, there's a rather large and relatively well-constructed building that seems to cover something or be built around something. You're not allowed anywhere near it.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So was that.
It seems to be like considered sacred. Maybe it's guarded and deep within the village. Whereas, if you try to get too far outside of this open area that they have close to the gate, then they're just kind of like, "What are you doing? Like, stay back."
Yeah. Well, Zen, because I'm gonna call him Zen.
Mhm.
I'm gonna call for now.
Mhm.
Zen's familiar with carcasses of dead things, and they were out in the yellow wastes for a long time. But they've never seen anybody, use one quite like this.
Mhm.
But it's dead. I don't think they're going to bring that up because it's going to start conflict.
Okay. Make me have Nenizen make me a perception check real quick, and then I want to check in with Myrrh and Ikki. See what y'all are doing.
11.
11. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Myrrh first, and then we'll get to Ikki.
Myrrh is walking around with detect magic up.
Yeah, these bones indeed radiate magic, and the whole area seems to be suffused with a curious mixture of necromancy and evocation.
Interesting.
There's almost an electric presence in the air around here that when you're detecting it, sort of makes your hairs stand up a little bit.
Ooh, exciting. Yeah, Myrrh's just kind of poking around, looking curious and interested in a positive way about magic, because she knows people are very anti-fellowship and fellowship are anti-magic.
Mm-hmm.
So she'll even cast Mage Hand to like help her out with purchasing some supplies or whatever.
Yeah, everybody here is they're all fine with all that. And at some point an orc in an elaborate headdress and enough ritual scars to make it take a minute to recognize that he is indeed an orc is brought out on this like a palanquin, right, like a sedan chair almost, by these four other wastelanders, and begins to make a tour of this open area where people are doing business. It seems as if he's shopping or selecting things himself, but not no one's getting any money in return.
What kind of things are he purchasing? Like magical components, or?
Ooh. Are you trying to be surreptitious and sly about it, or you do like go over there and check it out?
She'll start off surreptitious, and if she confirms like that's what it is, then she'll go over and like express interest.
Make me go ahead and give me a perception.
Okay.
Check for the first one.
Ooh, 19.
Yeah. It seems as though some of the items he selected are indeed they seem like legitimate items of power. Others you're not quite sure. Maybe they're spell components or something.
Components, yeah.
But yeah, he's selected what appears to be at least a wand and some sort of bracelet. That's
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Sort of like having his his little peons move his chair about the flea market there.
Myrrh's thinking golds. Right there.
Right there. Retired to a nice village, become a petty tyrant.
Yes. But a nice permanent portal to hell.
What else is a retired adventurer going to do?
That's true. With all that power.
Especially with modified memory and like a bunch of charisma.
Right. Yeah.
They'll love me.
You can really set yourself up. So, Ikki, as you cross the threshold into town, you immediately feel your amulet begin to warm and inaudibly growl. You feel like a predator is watching you as you step into this village.
Ikki will let Slip Slash out of the bag, and she'll kneel down and tell him, "Go look around town. Tell me what you find."
Sort of like blinks and
my cute little velociraptor. I'm so excited. Aw, thank you, sweetie. My husband brought me Subway cookies.
There you go.
Not sponsored by Subway, but hey, Subway, if you're watching.
There you go. Come on.
Yeah. So when she lets Slip Slash down, and I'd like for her to sort of like flare her own nostrils and kind of like surreptitiously glance around and see what she sees. I think she's noticed that everybody's kind of like more scared or wary. So it's like hard for her to kind of get a gauge on like what kind of wastelander output post this is, because usually people are just like standoffish and keep to themselves. But it seems like the people here have more of a refugee smell about them than necessarily the typical rendezvous barbarian feel about them.
So in terms of like your initial impression and you know, being a wastelander yourself, these barbarians seem remarkably well armed and armored for the typical type of wastelander. All of them have some kind of metal, either as a weapon or protecting some sort of vital area of them, and a few of them even have like proper armor and weapons. That's unusual, and they also seem like they know how to use them.
Can I do a like? So she has a bandit background. Can I roll like insight to see if they are perhaps, if not bandits, then deserters or like soldierly types? She doesn't have a lot of experience with like armies or anything, but like if she can narrow down and like rule out bandit, then maybe.
Yeah, that sounds like a good use for insight. Sure. No luck.
Well, I'm proficient, so with a +6, that's an 11.
Nice.
She's like, metal, cool.
Yeah, right. Bandit is such a complicated term, right? You know, I mean, surely they engage in some kind of, you know, nefarious activities. Who doesn't? But you know,
they weren't bandits before, they're bandits now.
Right, yeah. But they don't look like trained soldiers. They bear the demeanor. They have the demeanor of like the typical wastelanders in that they're probably skilled hunters and trackers and fierce fighters themselves, but not like disciplined soldiers.
Okay. It's interesting to her to see so many of them in a town together.
Lodestone is one of the larger villages out here, and it's there's probably a couple of hundred people that live here. That's very unusual for the northern wastelands.
Are they congregating together, or are they milling about separately?
In pairs and groups. Closer to the gate and along the walls, you mostly see the warriors of the group, men and women.
So they are walking around like they own the place then?
Oh, yeah. Okay, and they're coming and going out of huts.
All right, so they feel totally comfortable here.
Yeah, okay. and also like super on guard and ready to defend the place.
Okay, so that means they have a boss here.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay. I would like to figure out where the boss is.
Where is Ikki at right now?
I think Ikki wouldn't have gone too far from her. Just because like there's something about like when we go into a town and we're like, hey, let's split up, that like one of our party members dies. What if we didn't do that? What if we just hung out?
Good call.
Especially since, like, I assume Gildon stayed with the skiff with like Ellie and
Yeah, Ellie and Axtreamer and yeah, Gildon are all
no.
they're playing like some game or something.
I'm only okay with it today.
Axtreamer's teaching him an old game, like Pinochle or something. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure Gildon's making up
He
rules.
found-
to it.
He found a set of cards and he's
Oh,
hadn't
no.
shut up about it.
Oh no.
So-
Gonna
I
lose all
probably
of her
gave him the
allowance.
cards. Like, here you are. Thank you for accompanying.
Ellie's gonna lose all of her
Person.
allowance. All of her teeth allowance.
So Ikki sees,
yeah.
you see the big building further into the village that has an impression of importance, and there's a grand poobah or something being carted around the flea market, who came from that direction and is being borne about by other scarred members of this village. Those are the first two things that sort of stand out to Ikki.
Jim, before we go on,
Sure.
Zen is going to put their hands on the companions and cast telepathic bond.
Okay.
Forging a telepathic link, physically linked up. Those ends target can communicate telepathically through the bond, whether or not they have a common language. So yeah,
And that extent. There's no range as long as you're on the same plane of existence. You're for like 8 hours.
or
Okay.
1 hour actually. Looks
Oh,
like
1 hour. Okay.
1 hour. Yeah.
So your Netizen establishes this telepathic bond between the lot of you.
Yes.
Can now
Hello.
communicate instantaneously. I thought.
Oh no. I mean, hello.
This will be easier for
Ikki
us.
hates this. No.
Oh,
This is terrible.
Ikki, I can hear you too. Maybe this isn't as awful.
I do not like this.
Mm.
No. Turn it off. No.
We just met this guy.
Ikki doesn't have good memories of people being in her head. So.
Dorset would be Gildon's friend.
I
That's
hate
true.
this. No. I do not like this. No.
Um,
Turn it off, please.
Are you saying that?
Yes.
it off?
yeah, it's all.
Turn it off, please.
Okay, yeah. Do you? What do you do?
Leave it on and don't say anything. Just like when you have the phone and you're like, oh, I'm disconnecting. And you're just,
You just leave it. You just don't say anything. Put your finger over the receiver.
Well, it does say willing. So like at the
Okay.
the time of projecting his mind out there.
Yeah, I don't think Ikki would have noticed when he did connect, but like the moment that Ikki was like, oh no.
oh no.
No.
Okay. I think the way that usually the way telepathy works is that any communication is voluntary. So it's not like anything you think is in the other person's mind. It's like you have to like purposefully send a message to someone.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it is a case of it's like you
Okay.
just don't want to receive. So Ikki can at least
Ikki hangs up.
hang up, right.
Leaves him on red. Leaves them on red.
Wait, you didn't like party lines whenever
No.
people still have telephones? Yeah.
Ikki's experience with telepathy has been Devil Duke. So
That's true.
it's
Yeah.
like,
Very true.
Yeah.
no, I
that's
don't like it. Thank you.
true. Zen is only mildly offended.
Yeah.
I don't
Zen's
think
a natural telepath. All right. So the bond has been established and can be used as the individual sees fit. In that sense, Netizen, you've got this running and have gone off and sort of like talking to some of these wastelanders. And so Ikki sees this, basically sees the same person that Mur is seen just, moments after Mur's seen her.
What does What does that person need with all that stuff? What's the point of having
I
all
could
the...
think of quite a few things that I would do with all of that stuff. Need is such a strong word over want. That is very applicable here.
Well, it's been a long time. I don't think I've ever had a want.
Well,
Yeah.
it could be something to work towards. Goals.
Could you teach me to be shallow or greedy?
I'm sure I could arrange something. There are many devils in hell, and they all have their specialties. I could connect you with some.
This is also true. As you're there in this little makeshift market and looking at all the people there and getting a feel for the place, you do eventually notice that amongst the outlanders who are here are a pair of the shaggy robed arcane pilgrims, these people that you've seen, and accompanying them are also a pair of heavily armed and armored servitors. And the four of them sort of seem to be making their way from they come out of a low building. Looks like maybe it's one of those that's like partially dug out, and they make their way out of there past a ragged curtain, and are now sort of making their way through the market and just checking things out. Particularly the pilgrims seem to be examining things very closely. That doesn't look like they have spotted you yet, Denizen.
Really want to go poke those guys' heads. Denizen, tries to at least interview all of his fellows, or all of their fellows, us little clones. But they're not gonna do it at the moment. They're gonna wait.
Okay. In that case, then it's up to y'all. What are you hoping to accomplish here while you're in town? Just looking for information on Rix. I'm gonna wait. Next time, I'm just gonna wait till you take a giant mouthful of cookie or whatever
It's
it is.
too late. The cookie's gone. I tried to eat it real fast because I knew.
A second, you're just like, oh, Jim's...
I was like, if I don't eat this cookie as fast as possible, he's gonna use it against me during like a fight or something. You'd be like, oh, if you
cookie disadvantage,
you can't give an action in the next 3 seconds.
Reintroduce the shot clock for streaming. Yeah.
Ikki would like to find some boss type person, because in most, and this is me making this up, in most Wastelander towns, I assume that if a giant band like something that Rix had was coming into town, they need permission to come into town.
Certainly.
So somebody had to give Rix permission to bring them in, and that's who Ikki would be interested in speaking to give information, because whoever is leading the band would have to meet with that person again to let them know that, hey, I'm in charge of this band now.
Gotcha. Yeah. That makes sense.
Seem reasonable?
Yes. And most of particularly a large settlement like Lodestone here, this is not there's someone that maintains a tight grip over control of a place like this. So
tight enough that they wouldn't let a group of bandits just through it. Just sure, hang out in their tavern.
Yeah, come on. Just come on in, do whatever. And so chances are if they did, it was either under some condition or it was some other, maybe it wasn't like the whole band. But Molly seemed to suggest that it was all of them here. So they probably had to pay a hefty tax tithe.
Right. And so at least the higher officers probably met with him, which means at least the higher officers probably met with him again once the power changed hands. If he was killed in town, somebody saw it, and if he was killed out of town, then somebody saw Stanker come back.
Right. That seems reasonable.
Thanks.
There you go.
Why are we here, Ikki? Said Malask.
My broodmate is dead.
Are you picking up the remains?
My broodmate is dead, and I did not kill him.
Okay. So why are we here?
I don't. Ikki feels like it doesn't get like any more like plain than that.
Like use the telepathy. Straight to Nina's and be like, it's a lizard folk thing, I believe. Only she should have been the person to kill her brother. Since someone else has done it, she's to kill them for killing her brother because they stole a kill from her.
Well, makes perfect sense.
The Grand Poobah is about is getting close to you. He's circuit that he's making through the bazaar has almost reached where you guys are standing. And you know, as he approaches, he's sort of like, move along. What sort of offering do you have for me, the speaker of all truths?
The speaker of all truths, you say?
Yes.
Would you consider yourself a prophet?
Indeed, a prophet.
That's so uncanny. We have traveling with the prophet of the wastes ourselves.
False prophet, then certainly not one who speaks truths.
Oh, really? Well, I don't know. Most of the things he's prophesized have come true.
Gonna have our prophet off.
Yeah.
They both get
Bring
their
out my
mega churches
papers.
together. Just
Somebody put down some cardboard.
Right.
instead of like snapping for their gangs, everybody like claps slightly off beat. I'm sorry. Please continue.
No, you see it. He's got a this sort of headdress that seems to have been made from scrap materials. Most of it is metal or other sort of like metallic type objects, brightly colored and overly large as well. And this person who's here, this orc, who doesn't seem like they've gotten up out of this chair in a while, it seems indignant and just, well then, you're a false prophet who spreads lies and deceit. Will answer for his crimes. You, though, what sort of tithe and offering do you bring me, sharing my hospitality?
I'll hand him a business card.
Yeah, what is he decorated with? What are his like accessories?
Just like all kinds of bangles and
God.
and glittering doohickeys.
Oh no, somebody wants real money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like somebody made a Mr. T starter kit out of like dollar store.
Oh no. I hate it. Oh no. What do
And
I have?
Those of you trained in Arcana can give me an Arcana check.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm actually expertised in it now. Since
Okay.
Am I trained in it? Probably not.
I am. I'm so arcane. And I'd probably still have
LOL
my
not.
my detect magic up and
Yeah,
running.
detect magic as well. Some of these things.
How about a 29, Jim?
Yeah. So you're sitting here and he's made his pitch and looking at it, and you're not sure that he is. That's not how you use that. And that goes there, not right. This thing right here, it goes, you're supposed to wear it like this. And
Yeah, that's an
start
earring
seeing
on your
multiple-
toe.
Right. Things like that. You start seeing multiple sort of inconsistencies, and it doesn't suggest that he's entirely
Entirely honest.
yeah.
Well, perhaps you could amaze and astound us with an example of your prophecies, a speaker of truths.
Yes. The display of my power is often needed. And he sits back, and the bearers shift their weight as he resettles himself. He closes his eyes, and all of you feel a distinct electric sensation in the air. It plays across your the hairs on your body. It's tangible. It's almost a taste that you can feel, and a metallic object sitting loose on one of the mats goes flying towards one of the bones. And that's only the first, as multiple unattended metallic objects begin to, fly across as if drawn by some powerful force to these bones that make up the walls, the gateway, that kind of thing.
Interesting. With my arcana and my detect magic up, do I get the sense that this magic is coming from him, or if he's utilizing the bones for his power?
Ooh, yeah, so you get the impression, watching him do this and having your detect magic up at the same time, you get the impression he's merely a
Conduit.
A conduit. Yeah,
Okay.
that the power is not coming from him. While this is happening, Ikki, I need Ikki to make me like a wisdom save.
Oh, I knew you were gonna say that. I was like, don't do it.
Don't even do it.
Don't do it. You know I always fail these. Okay, I tossed it. Now I'm gonna look. So I rolled an 8, so that's a 10.
Oh.
It's cool. No, it's fine. Jim did this.
No, it's a Ikki has a sensation for a minute of being caught between two apex predators that are about to square off over like a territory.
What?
The sensation you have is if two of them on either side of you, you're in their presence. And you get the sensation that they hate each other. But you don't see anything, you don't feel anything, nothing changed. There's no other than this, magnetic effect. You just have this sensation. You have a strong compulsion to flee.
Ugh.
And while it's not like a fear effect, it is this place is dangerous.
Ooh, I don't like it. Where's Slip Slash?
Seems to be poking around.
Yeah, where's my baby boy?
Yeah, you call him back.
Yeah. She's just gonna give a low whistle and
here he comes skittering. Sorry, not skittering.
Oh.
No! Loping.
Fine, break my heart all day today. Can't have cookies.
That's fine. We can't unbreak it. So that's the impression. Ikki seems, all that's going on. The rest of you see this display, some people seem like, surprised by it. All of the people that seem to live here love it. Like they go nuts. The first time something hits one of the bones, they start cheering.
Can I figure out how to tap into these bones?
I mean, it's possible to, yes, but
and mimic what he's doing.
Tell me what you're thinking.
Because
Mur's gonna topple this play. It's coup time.
It's Gildon's not here to do it. Mur has to.
No.
I should have known in the moment he said prophet, and like Lindy got that look in her eye, and I was like,
oh wait.
Cheered of Grant.
I don't have to worry about. I was like, Grant can't interfere here. It's Mur time. Let me topple some civilization. So bards learn their magic from like observing and watching others. They don't learn it from books like wizards. And so she kind of sees this and she kind of realizes it's a conduit. And she's going to kind of walk over to one of the bones and touch it.
Mm-hmm.
And see if she can, like while humming to herself, kind of just to try to maybe kind of feel what magical, because in her mind a lot of magic is on frequencies and music, and she's going to try to kind of tune into the frequency that way. Because I can't counterspell him. I was just going to counterspell whatever he did, but then he's just a conduit.
A dispel magic would work if you had dispel.
I do have dispel magic.
It is a magical effect that's ongoing.
I do have dispel magic.
It would end it, but it wouldn't sever his connection.
Okay.
If there is a connection, what you know about magic, both from your background and proficiencies and all that business, you making contact with whatever is powering it is probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
You know, you might have to deprive him of access to that. As you touch the bone, though, you have the same sensation that Ikki does of there being a apex predator like nearby but unseen, and it, you know, of this being its territory, or something about this place being important to it, and it would defend it at all costs.
Okay. Oh, I want to fuck with it so bad. But Mur has a paranoia level of like 12 on a 1 to 10 scale. So I think with this information, she'll make like a mental note to come back to this place. And just be like, your display of power is truly astounding. Like,
Impressed.
trying desperately not to roll her eyes.
Yes.
Yes. So it is miraculous. I will have to come back and continue to pay tribute. And she's gonna kind of just walk over and I do not have much, but then she's gonna give him some copper pieces as a tribute.
Yeah, he's like, yes, these discs of metal are acceptable. And you know, he seems to have been like almost as if the display of his ability is he forgot about.
Yeah, that's why it's just a couple coppers. She's like, oh no.
But he doesn't really spend a lot of time. He just peons, and you know, moves past you without you know, without much. It seems to not really pay much attention to Nenazin or Ikki.
Jim.
Yes.
I'm gonna message him. With the phrase, "Tell us what you know."
A word from beyond. He stops. Wait. And he like he like, you know, wait, a word from beyond, and you know, begins a theatrical sort of performance of it that's very familiar. I'm
just sitting here like, we found another Gildon. I didn't think we would, but at least this one's like clever about it. Like he set himself up real nice here.
We haven't seen them two in the same place though.
Ooh, good call.
With this like the Wonder Woman version of Gildon.
I'll twirl.
Gildon changes in a telephone booth.
You know, tell us what you know is what you're asking.
Yeah, tell us what you know, and then maybe again, tell us of our power.
Tell us of our power. You see him, you know, with the second one, he kind of like, there's almost a look of surprise that comes over his face. Oh, the great
have power.
The great beast speaks to me, and I must enter my communion chamber.
What is this great beast?
You know, there's a hush that seems to follow, and they all make a sign that sort of looks like horns. You know, they're kind of like a horn sign. As they all the
I'm gonna like all into it, like someone who looks maybe a little more wizened or who's been here a while, and be like, "What is the great beast?"
Oh, the great one of the persons, the latest, the next person over in the song. Oh, the great beast protects this place. Yes,
What kind of beast is it?
Some sort of foul creature, and it's we'll see in a moment when he enters the communion chamber. And
boy.
A bunch of excitement and the like. This procession makes its way towards the rather large building.
Follow, obviously.
And a crowd gathers outside as the speaker of all truths enters into this holy of holies, and there's loud incantations and shouting, "Oh, great beast, speak to us so that I may relay your message to others. What is it you wish to know?" They go through a whole rigmarole. You send another message?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think they're smart enough to ask Myrrh first. Despite having a lower wisdom.
Yeah. Sure.
kind of wise.
He just thinks this guy is convulsing. It's just like, oh.
Yeah.
Weird.
You'll get like a reply back from Burr in your mind going, "Oh, very clever. Please."
Nice, Grant. That was
your advantage.
Grant was like,
Yeah.
Grant, you made an entrance.
There's a crowd gathering over the communion chamber of the speaker of all truths, this village's prophet.
Yes.
no.
You're a blasphemer. We left you on the skiff.
Lindy made this happen.
Which Mer would find highly hilarious, and she would be like, "A sign," and then a toot to the boat.
That is the actual
Nothing touches the ground.
Yeah. If you had waited like 10 more seconds, then we could get to like the reveal where it's like he's blah blah blah. It's like, ta-da, it was Gildon the whole time. Gildon just melts on the skiff and it's a simulacrum.
Right. So do you indeed flame strike the speaker of all truths?
Oh boy.
Oh,
Mer would be in the meanwhile.
Oh no.
Okay, chat can't hear me. I'm back, chat. I know you couldn't hear me.
Oh, no.
I was speaking so much profanity that
Yes.
I was muted by Twitch.
Yeah, I was gonna say they can't hear you right now.
No, they can't hear me. It's a good thing you guys couldn't hear me because I was proselytizing here to this group. So I think chat, we're gonna have a vote. So we were talking about how Gildon makes his entrance. If there is a prophet of all truths, we're thinking Gildon is going to cast Flame Strike. So in chat, if you would like me to Flame Strike this prophet of all truths,
Yes or no?
I think you type yes or no. It really give us a 1-1-1. All right, chat, you decide. That's one yes. Here we go. That was good enough. Pruitt can't deny Pruitt.
Pruitt does not count.
Yeah.
You can't vote.
Don't let him
Because Mer doesn't know Gildon's coming up off the skiff. Mer is just gonna keep like replying to Nindison. He's a heck. It's hilarious. He's just a conduit for whatever actual power is here, and we probably don't want to piss it off. It feels very predatory.
Okay.
But maybe we could find out about this.
And I imagine, here's how I want it. Like a little tiny servant walks up, like Hoggle the hag puppet with a little note and like holds it up to the prophet who leans down and says, "Look up."
Oh my god.
Yeah, so The speaker of all truths is in. You can sort of see him. This building that he's in is like I said, rather large, and the entrance to it is been crowded around and everything. But you can see something going on in there, and there's what might be an altar or a table of some kind that's performing around. You can hear him, however, and the
ask him to tell the tale of how the beast came to protect this place.
So Nizen, you get one last message here off as he begins to answer your questions. And so, what was your last one that you'd asked from Mer? This the last one.
Oh, well, probably. Like what question I would ask Mer?
No, you're sending in.
One more message to send to this guy before Grant Flame strikes.
Okay. I feel like it should be something ironic, but maybe if he says something, it'll be
What
good.
has 2 thumbs and is about to die?
Yeah.
If a train
This
leaves
guy.
Trade Town traveling it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask. Tell them, or command.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them of our history.
Okay. You begin your you send your message, and he's going on and on and on with various titles and invocations and the like. Seems a rather long-winded introduction to it, and it kind of gets down to beginning to answer. Oh, we came to you with your bones were revealed to us through the power of your will, kind of thing. You showed us the way. You showed us how to be strong in the wasteland. All this kind of thing here, and
Sounds like something we know.
There's a crescendo as the crowd, particularly those who live here, gets amped up as this is going on. And Gildon, let me know when you strike, at what moment. And he's giving all sorts of invocations.
It's spaghetti time.
Okay.
Walls of Jericho, Tony Stark style. Just
and
my theme music hits. And I think I decided Gildon's theme music is Big Bang Baby by the Stone Temple Pilots. And so it's just like this 90s rock. I come in green pants.
I was going to say you should be singing the hymn about Joshua and the Battle of Jericho. That's what I think.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
And the walls came a-tumbling down.
Yeah, that one. But whatever. I just like bringing that up because that's my song.
So, what's the DC for Flame Strike?
Oh, it's a DC 14, and they'll take half. But Gildon's readying. As soon as they turn to look, old Bigwig himself's going to get a guiding bolt to the face.
That's if he survives the flame strike at half.
Right.
Oh, he will.
What's the damage then?
Okay, this is going to be 46 fire and 46 radiant.
Mm-hmm. All right, ready.
You
want me to roll? Or you want, are you gonna roll
do you want me to roll? I can roll.
Oh yeah, I thought you were rolling.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Sorry.
I'm loading my die roller because I don't have enough dice on my table right in front of me. But if I was a good fan and I would buy dice on Tabletop Loot, then I'd have them.
Ta-da!
All right, so that's going to be a whole heaping load of damage.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be 39 points of damage.
There's a cry from the inside of the of this structure here, as light pours out of the entranceway, and Gildon's flame strike hits home. A cry of pain and anguish, and then nothing. there's a hush from the crowd, and people are just like,
That's actually perfect timing.
Yeah, Gildon's gonna step in, turn himself to stone, then light his head on fire, as he's known to do. Be like, "Behold your god!"
and there's a murmur that is sort of begins to kick up from the crowd, and as Gildon,
"Where is your prophet now?"
entrance, you hear something from some of them, and they go, it's almost posed as a question, and then it goes from a question to a statement to a rallying cry, maybe, or and it's, isn't that the Medusa's emissary? And it goes from that to, the Medusa's emissary killed the speaker, and cry begins to go up around. Moments to act. You have an angry mob.
No, they go, that the divine might be made manifest in him. And I walk over, and I'm going to revivify this poor sap.
Oh.
And when he's down there, I'm going to...
left to revivify? That's the main question. If his hit points are dead for a time,
I know how that... Don't you know how
my
miracles work? You know, a guy comes in, he's like, "Oh, there's this horrible situation. I'll fix it."
You did really want to use Revivify on Baloo, so maybe you could use it now.
All right.
if there's any
That's what I'm going to do now. Or I just make this horrible in Spirit Guardians and walk around till every last one of these dummies is dead. Hag puppet them all. A massacre. A butchering.
I turn Great Turn invisibility on,
Okay.
and I just slide a mage hand, whatever the nicest magical item I saw on him, before he really does this.
There's some horrible things. I should just
I
fill up
start
the place
walking
with
back to the
insect
ship.
plague. Locusts eating
right.
everything.
Like, in some way, Denizen thinks that they started this. Like, maybe Gildon was like waiting or something.
It's true. The first few steps of agnosticism are internalizing guilt.
There you go.
Well,
There you go.
yeah, I'm going up, and then essentially, I'm going to bring this sucker back to 1 hit point.
Okay. So here's some things. As there was already a crowd around the entrance, so you'd have to make your way through that if you can. Myrrh has gone invisible.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to know what Ninizen and Ikki are doing, because it while no one seems to like, no one is like, oh, and you're with them. There is a very like, about half the crowd at least is like itching for something. If Gildon was a stone with a flaming head, it might be different.
First things first is to make sure freedom of movement's on myself, so I can't be restrained or paralyzed or anything like that. It's just they tried to take hands on him, yet he moved in mysterious ways. Yeah, and like
Yeah. Where Jesus escapes the crowd. Yeah.
yes.
Ikki.
Ikki
I got the reference.
sees that Gildon is here.
Back to the skiff.
Yes. Yeah. He's made it. He's made an entrance.
And Ikki knows enough of Gildon's magic. Does Ikki think that Gildon killed the Speaker of All Truths?
Oh, probably. Yeah.
The only person that is in Ikki's mind, like the most knowledgeable about Rix's death.
Yeah. I mean, basically, like
You can't speak with
you
dead.
saw that there's the entire inside of that thing was filled with radiant fire.
Oh boy.
No one's come out.
Let me roll a d4 just
All right.
real quick.
How about Nenizen real quick? TK thinks.
Denizen doesn't really like it when he's like, or when they're like psychically reaching out to someone, and then that person dies. Like that's gotta.
Violently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feel their last death screams.
Yeah. It was like they cast a message spell, and then, the prophet received it, and then his response to the message spell was his cries of fear, and so
Sounds like you learned a lesson about telepathy here.
Mm.
yes,
Good
yeah.
call.
So
Both
not
of them
happy.
started through the crowd, seemingly avoiding their some of their attempts to stop him or grab him. Nitizen, you're sort of like lost in this contemplation. Are you acting or anything?
Instead of knowing them, instead of freaking out, Zin's just gonna like try to put their back to something solid.
And Murad sent the message to all of you, right? Like or at least those of you in the telepathic bond to like back to the skiff. Yeah. All right. So Gildon, your freedom of movement will allow you to pass through the crowd without any.
Oh, yeah.
She just sees this going so bad, so fast, and she's just like, skip.
Now I have to decide: am I gonna go full heal on this, or am I going to restore their profit? I kind of feel like I want to just take his head, pop it off, so Ikki can ask it questions whenever we feel like it. Like
Ikki stays and watches, but does nothing.
Okay. Okay.
Gotta decide.
Like
Oh,
locks
geez.
the sheaths on her sword. Like just like
I'm invisibly looting the magical items off of the body.
I think that's how I'm gonna do this. So I'm thinking I'm gonna speak with Dad. I'm gonna say, "Hey, speaker of truth, do you want to be brought back from the dead?"
And there you find this charred and crusted remains. There's a jerky motion as the magic of the spell partially reanimates and provides voice for it, and it's just, that bastard caught me. Give me my revenge.
Well, that is hardly an answer to the question I asked, and the thing is, I can raise this guy up to like 10. I could raise him a long time from now if I wanted to. I think I'm gonna, since no one can take hold of me, just muscle goblin him over my shoulder and run off with the body.
Okay. As Gildon makes to leave, they're not going to let you leave with his body without a fight. And they were sort of like, everybody's sort of like stunned and for a moment sort of just shocked into inaction. But this cry of like the Medusa's envoy, and as he darts into the thing, they're now trying to rush in after. So you've got a crowd of warriors trying to get into the room with.
Here's the question: I asked them all: is this worth them all dying today? Because they will. I promise that. All of you will die, or I can give you your profit back. But I need them for a little while.
Give me a persuasion.
Cool.
I'll give you advantage for this one. For
I
theatrics.
swear to God, Jim.
I mean, it's theatrical, right? Like,
Yeah, okay. If this isn't a DC 30.
it's pretty steep DC.
It might be. So there's a few things I have.
Pretty
I do
steep.
have bonuses. I'm proficient in persuasion. I have advantage. I can use a guidance on myself.
That all said, I do hope that you make it, Grant.
Well, let's find out. That's not as bad as I thought it was. So 20 or 19 plus 5 is 24, correct? I'm learning disabled in math. All right. So that's what I got with advantage.
There's a moment. They stop as they're rushing in, 10 feet from you as they see you squatting over the charred remains of their former prophet, and weapons in hand and violence in their eyes. They look at you for a minute and see that you're bedecked in magic, and don't seem to give a shit that there's like 200 of them, and stop just long enough that they don't engage in combat, and they relax just a little bit.
All right, time to use some of those Gildon Goblin bonus actions. Woo!
Full cartoon at this point.
Beep beep, Roadrunner out of there.
Meow.
All right. So you're making a run for it.
Yeah, I've got the body.
Okay.
Look,
How about everybody else? We'll get to we'll see what happens. How
guys,
about
I'm so sorry when I walk in mid-adventure and I'm coming in at a weird place and I'm sorry.
you guys see that he's attempting to make his way out the door. Body and Mur is inside with him. Ninizen and Ikki would be outside.
I already got the stuff, right?
Yeah, mostly, yeah. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't leave. I just stayed and watched.
Okay.
This is super hard because TK definitely wants to do a totally different thing than Ikki, and Ikki very rarely like acts specifically out of spite.
Uh-oh.
Ikki's gonna slow down to a walk.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Walking towards the skiff. How about Nizen?
Gildon suddenly appears and doing his usual theatrics, which Zen is probably now just kind of getting familiar with.
Sure.
But Denizen's kind of like, whether he has to crash this train later, he's still with it, and so he starts paralleling, or they start paralleling Gildon with the intention of intervening if need be.
Okay.
So
intervention if need be.
Yeah, or maybe more like, they're trying to meet him at the gate, maybe.
Okay. At the entrance from the building or the gate to the village?
Oh gosh. I was kind of thinking he was outside.
No, he's like inside the building that's deep in the village, or at least far away from the gate that you came through. It's close to a wall that you could attempt to hop over, but if you wanted to leave by the gate or get to the skiff, it would take a couple of rounds.
I could actually just vertically run up the wall, actually.
You probably can, right?
Now that I'm 10th level.
Okay.
Anyway, in which case I will. Nenson will go to the door, to the opening of the hut room thing.
Okay, so you wait for him there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so Ikki's slow walking back to the skiff. Mur is slipped out, invisible, making your way back to the skiff as well. I take it.
Before she left, I wanted to touch those bones again and see if there's any change in the resonance.
Ooh.
Now that the prophet's been murdered.
Yeah,
Murdered. Yeah.
You get a sense of of an emptiness that wasn't there before. If you had, you think that it would take you time to fully acclimate yourself to this. That it's not something you can just do in an instant.
Okay. All right. So there's just an emptiness, but not like rage or anything like that.
I mean, you still have the same sort of
That feeling of
sense of
something. Yeah.
sense of danger, but no one's
It hasn't
like
increased.
no.
Okay,
it doesn't seem to
good.
have increased.
That's mostly what she was looking for. It was like,
Gotcha.
fuck, we pissed it off.
Right.
So she'll just kind of make note of that. I'm guessing all the bones are too large to take with, so she won't take a piece with her.
Yeah, they're gigantic.
They're gigantic. Okay.
Yeah.
So she's just gonna make a mental note of that and just back to the skiff.
Come back later.
Yeah.
All right. So let's. All right. Tell me exactly what you do, Gildon. Are you?
I actually dimension door to the skiff.
Okay. All right.
So I can be like, we are leaving. Do not ask questions. I'm very mad at Gildon. Don't let him talk to me right now.
Okay.
I've got two other questions for this corpse. I can ask him up to 5 questions.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I think we're gonna hold on to those because I got 10 minutes to ask those questions. I should probably wait till we blow out a dodge, because I'm in no situation to be asking questions. Especially since if you've ever seen the episode of The Tick when he goes on the spiritual journey. Hey, how you doing? Get the thumbs up. Thumbs up, not bad. I'm bad. I'm horrible. So yeah,
Right.
I'm going and I'm getting this prophet carcass on the skiff with us. I figure a dead prophet is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. There is a village full of angry wasteland barbarians who are
I start
upset.
to drive away before Gildon gets there. I want to be at least out of eyesight so
Okay.
that they're not like, oh, that's the lady who's, yeah.
Gotcha. That's okay. So,
I don't want to be shot on sight some random place. I see.
so it's really just you and Axe Streamer and Ellie on the skiff right now. It doesn't look like Ikki or Ninizen have
They'll
made it
catch
back.
up. They know how to track the skiff. We are hiding behind this rock outcropping out of sight.
All right. You bug out. Doesn't seem like anyone is angry at Ninizen or Ikki, but you are noticing that as like Gildon's pushing his way out and slipping through, there are calls to, stop him, don't let him get out, protect the body of the speaker. And you see them start drawing various weapons, bows and other ranged weapons, and then groups of the tougher sorts look like they're moving to attempt to stop him. So we're not going to do necessarily like a big drawn out combat, because this is like you guys having to get across the village. It's going to take at least, you're moving like as fast as you can, Gildon, it'd probably take you about 3 rounds to get across this thing. That's with your bonus action to dash.
Okay.
Movement increasing abilities?
I have all kinds of nonsense I can do. But the real thing, I don't think I necessarily need to do any ridiculousness. I think what I need to do is essentially at this point, I'm feeling pretty good. I've got resistance to energy damage. I've got resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing right now. 80 hit points. We'll see how I do. What I was thinking about doing, though, is dropping behind me a massive swarm of insect plague. But I'm not going to, not right now.
Wow. Wow.
I was gonna say, how many? So you're still concentrating on stone skin, though.
Yeah. But
okay.
I would be willing to drop it to be like, no,
just to get an insect plague out of here.
Locust.
All right, so we're actually going to use your skirmish light, Grant. Would you like to give everyone a rundown of your skirmish rules? To kind of give everybody a sense of what they are.
So I designed, it's actually the first thing for 5th edition that I designed and cobbled together when I was first recruited to stream games on Encounter Roleplay. I love running D&D, but I noticed on stream, combat in D&D can take roughly 45 minutes to an hour if you follow rule by rule as written combat. So what I did is I combined rule sets from 4th edition, Shadows of the Demon Lord, the Dungeon Master's Guide with a couple optional rules variants where you can run a combat-like encounter to tax players' resources. The outcome, more likely than not, won't be death, although it's still possible to die. You use the mob combat variant calculations from the Dungeon Master's Guide, but there's a couple steps. The first thing you do is you determine the size of the NPC force, and you will have a master-minion ratio, something like 1 master warrior for 4 minions. Minions, of course, have 1 hit point. The next thing you do is you determine abstract positioning of the NPC forces. So that comes from the game 13th Age. You are engaged, nearby, far away, or distant. If you're nearby, it'll take a move action to close the distance. Then what you do is you determine the initiative order that comes out of Shadows of the Demon Lord, where if you're doing a fast turn, which is one thing, I move, or I attack, or I do this bonus action. You get to go before anybody else in combat. It always favors the PCs first. If you're doing a slow turn, which is multiple things, I move, I do the following bonus action, and I attack, you will go after everyone who does a fast turn. So you resolve PC fast turns, then NPC fast turns. Then you resolve PC slow turns, then NPC slow turns. And it's funny, if you actually read my rules examples in this, I'm referencing like Lisa Chen and John Sawatsky and Mishan Cantrell, all these. I actually play tested it with them back when Rudy Basso and I were doing one-shots on my Twitch channel a long time ago. Then we use cleave damage, so if you're hitting with a two-handed weapon, it will cleave through, so if you kill an enemy, the weapon will keep going through other enemies. Likewise, when the enemies attack you, you use the mob calculator. Sly Flourish has a good calculator, but this comes from the Dungeon Master's Guide, where essentially if there's large numbers of foes, they're probably going to automatically hit you. And so there's a calculation to figure out how many of the large mob hits you. You also determine if you need to jump to the end. This came from Sean Merwin when he was on DM's Deep Dive. So if in about 2 rounds the players wipe out about 75% of the mob, you just give the players the option. Do you chase them down and kill them? Do you chase them down and capture one of them, keep some alive? Or do you just allow them to escape? So you still give players choice, but it allows you to move the game along. So that's kind of the system in a rundown at a high level. I know that was kind of wordy and verbose. Prolific and prone to pose. Sorry, that's the Nerd Girl song by MC Chris. Yes, so there we have. I'll go ahead and post the skirmish rules in chat so you all can look over them. They're pretty good, especially for streaming games.
Yeah, I like them for this kind of like big fight. I'm not about to roll for all these NPCs, and you know, as I understand it, you guys are really just bugging out, and so like I said, it's 3 rounds to get to it. Nobody can restrain Gildon, right, because of the spells, so nobody can like grab him or anything like that.
Nope.
Ikki and Ninizen are free to participate as they like, but currently no one is attempting to attack you. They seem to be focused entirely on this stranger who came to town and killed their leader and is now attempting to leave with his body. So, that said, at nearest to Gildon, there are 6 groups of 5 each. Now, these are all mostly orcs, but some of the larger goblinoids are also present, of the scarified and wasteland-hardened barbarians. So, Gildon, what are you doing? I guess this is slow. Are you taking a fast turn or a slow turn?
I'm gonna slow turn.
Oh, all right. Gildon is slow turning. Anybody else want to take a fast turn? That is 1 action and 1 action only. A move, an attack, 1 spell, that kind of thing.
No, I'm going to slow turn.
Okay. Ninizen is slow turning. Is Ikki participating at all, or are you just going to watch the...
He's taking a walk.
All right. Ikki's taking a walk. All right. In that case, 2 of my groups are using a fast turn to make ranged attacks against Gildon. So here we go. Number of people attacking. And let's see. Here we go. And all right. So it looks as though 3 of those groups, or 3 members of those groups, have hit Gildon, and that's going to be 6 damage each from their bows. Obviously, Gildon, I'll let you apply the damage resistance to that. So 3 arrows have penetrated through the stone skin, or at least hit Gildon, and it appears as though the rest of them are either they moved after you and didn't do anything else, or they are trying to get ahead of you and sort of surround you. That was my fast turn. No, so it's now slow turns. PCs first.
All right. I'm going to move 90 feet to try to get to that skiff.
All right.
Are our turns simultaneous?
Yes, they're basically everything. Whatever phase it is basically simultaneous. So it allows you to coordinate who goes first, who would like to go first, that kind of thing.
Okay. In which case, I'm going to. Ooh. What does Step of the Wind do again?
That's
Oh,
allows
that's
you
great.
to, yeah, it's like bonus action.
Action dash.
Yeah, bonus action dash for a key point, and maybe it does something to your jump too. It's in chat. Pruitt will be able to tell us because he knows all.
Okay, so in invoking the Step of the Wind,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to disengage, just trying to move through the crowd as quickly as possible, get to Gildon, and then kind of get in front of him and see if I can't keep the lead on him.
So you're gonna like make yourself. You're gonna stand next to Gildon and sort of like make yourself a target.
Yeah, push people out of the way.
Okay.
Regardless of what's going to happen, they don't want Gildon taken down.
Sure.
At least not. He needs to die by something big and dangerous.
Public
ripped apart by a
execution.
mob of
Yeah,
barbarians.
not public execution.
And so, is there a? Have they drawn their weapon?
No.
Okay. All right, because you still have you move. So a move and a bonus action. You still have an action, right? Still do something.
Could I make a? I mean, maybe it's against more than one target, but could I make a shove action? Of just moving people out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, you can make as many shove attempts as you've got attacks.
Okay.
With your attack.
2 then.
All right.
That works just like an attack, right?
Sure. Yeah. AC 14.
Is it a skill check or like strength plus proficiency?
It's basically it's like a different kind of or I mean I'm misremembering something. Go ahead and we'll just do opposed strength for this. I always forget how shove works, but let's just do opposed strength. He has athletics basically. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. What do we got?
First one's 19.
Total.
Second. Yeah.
All right. And the second one?
Yeah. The second one is 22.
22. First one, it sort of stumbles back a bit, but is not completely shoved out of the way. The second one is, however, and a break is made in this sort of group that's forming around the two of you. That's the first round. You've made your way about a third towards your destination. None of them are taking any slow turns to attack or anything. And now it is top of round 2. So anyone taking a fast turn? Doing one thing.
No. Slow turn.
All right. How about for Gildon?
Okay. Gildon will slow again so he can. I mean, I assume 180 feet in a round. I mean, not everyone got that big of a lead on us. I was intent on getting out, so.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're within. You're within you'll be within sight of the gate after this. After the end of this round, and then Ikki is still slow walking. All right. Enough of them have gotten close that they are going to both move and attack. So the 2 groups of ranged will attack, but then there's also going to be 4 groups of meleeers that are in what would be engaged with both Gildon and Ninazin. The ranged are nearby, so they're not that far away. In order to give them all of the ranged are taking fast turns, the meleeers are taking slow turns. And Myrrh is somewhere out in the desert, and the imp's complaining to you about Gildon. Just what the fuck. Let's go ahead and resolve those actions then. No players are taking fast turns, so my 2 groups will go for the ranged, and it does not appear as if any. Look at the calculator. One of them hit from one group, and 2 of them hit from another one. So Gildon's going to be hit 3 times for 3 times. 3 arrows, 6 damage each. Yep. And that makes my fast turns, which means it's slow turns. PCs first.
How many are engaged with Gildon?
There are 4 groups. In each group, there are 5.
All right, so that'll be disengage as a bonus action full move, and then let me see real fast. Cleave with the guiding bolt just through a whole row. Comic. Yeah, let's do it.
Got an action left.
Gildon's going to grow. I think he's going to cast plant growth, so all the plants around us becomes severely overgrown, and it's 100 all normal plants in a 100-foot radius centered on a point, which will become me.
Does it create plant life if there's none there?
Is there absolutely none?
There's none. I mean, this is like the...
I would have to wombo combo and create vegetation, right, and then do it. I've done that one. No, then I won't do that.
Okay.
What I'll do is, I mean, I still have freedom of movement. Most of these, I think I'll dash as an action, so I'll get a full 60 feet. And I'll also have the disengage, so no one can hit me. So I'm still moving quite fast.
Carry through. All right. So Gildon is just like bobbing and weaving through people's legs, just like faking people out and going
with their profit. Keep away.
With the profit,
back where he gets it.
And it is sort of like frustrating many of them who are attempting to attack. Arrows are flying everywhere. Niznn, you'll have a chance to go before I get to go. What is Niznn doing?
So he's making good headway. How far do you go, Gildon?
I move 60 feet.
60 feet? Okay.
I've traveled a total of 150 feet to the skiff.
Then I'm going to step of the wind again.
Where the skiff was.
Yeah, where the skiff was. You see that all of you can see now that the skiff is not there anymore.
I'm going to try to get in front of Gildon again, and the skiff is not there.
Correct.
Are we outside yet, or
not yet?
Almost outside?
You're running through the makeshift bazaar that they had set up, the flea market. The gates appear to be like closing kind of thing, but it takes a while. It's not like these are not well-made gates, right? So you're just moving as well.
I'm trying to get ahead of him. Maybe like keep the gates open. Or...
Surely you can, right? Like you've got, your base speed's faster. You can dash.
Oh yeah,
too, right?
Yeah, I was thinking probably they're like, jump up and jump off somebody's shoulder, land on something that wouldn't normally support people's weight, but they just like tiptoe right across it, heading towards the gate. If there's anyone physically closing it, he might engage with them temporarily.
There's a pair of people working to close the gate, like a little mechanism towards the side of it, simple pulley. There's that, but there's plenty of people attempting to attack you, and particularly you shove them, and they're like, "Wait a second, you're with him," and not attacking any of those.
Not if I can help it. Let me see. Hold on a minute. Is Flurry of Blows an action?
No.
Bonus action,
okay.
1 key point.
All right. Okay. No. Just getting to that gate.
Okay. Focused on movement. The two of you running in tandem then get pretty close. Like I said, they are attempting. They're like, we're not just going to let you leave here like that. And so there's 4 groups engaged in melee, and they're kind of, you have to basically like run a gauntlet of them. First group is attempting to attack Gildon, and looks like 2 attacks hit from that group. The second group, so let's see. Actually, the second group looks like all of them hit. So that's
Okay.
5 hits from the second group on Gildon.
So 5 times 6 is 30. Then I was also hit by 2 more, which would be 12. So 42.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And then for Ninizen, first group hits you twice. And the second group, it's another one where it's like all of them. So it looks like maybe like there's a line of them right there at the last. Some of the tougher ones have formed like a makeshift kind of line to keep the 2 of you from getting out. And that's where you meet the stiffest resistance. It looks like you both on your second hits got attacked by like all 5 of them. So they do 6 damage a hit. And you were hit 7 times.
Yep. Oof.
That's a lot.
That might do Ninizen in.
I don't know. That's like no.
Josh is on his 3rd character. Sorry. I have choice. I only have 1 revivify. Do I revive this prophet or my servitor?
You know I already have one in mind, but that's not the point.
Yeah, I knew you had like only a dozen characters ready to play.
Right. Yeah, that's real mean.
Certainly, there's a fierce melee that's broken out right there at the gate between you're trying to slip past, trying to get through them, and they're just like savage with their attacks. Top of round 3, anybody taking a fast turn?
I can only take 1 action if I do that.
That's right. You can do like one, you could make an attack, just move. Anything that requires, like, say you're using an extra attack feature or bonus action plus something else, that would be a slow turn.
I'm taking one.
A fast turn for Gildon.
Yeah, I'm gonna flame strike Ninizen. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
All
of my people.
I've got evasion. I've got evasion. I'll just say that.
Okay. And slower fast for Ninizen.
Slow still.
Slow. Okay. All right. Fast turns then.
All right, dash. That's 3 rounds, and that's up to 210 feet.
Yeah, you get through and you sort of like run this final gauntlet and slip through as right as the gates are starting to not quite shut, but they are shutting. Gildon is free. You can see that sort of Gildon has.
Imagine Indiana Jones. My helm of comprehend languages falls off, which I imagine is like a fez that's made out of tinfoil because it fits. And then I just turn and I pick it up, Indiana Jones style, put it back on.
None of my people are taking fast turns, so that makes it the slow turns. PC's first. Ninizen, you're up.
I'm going to say sorry, and then I'm gonna make all the punches and kicks, and then if my way gets clear, I'm out.
Okay.
Okay. Let me, as a refresher.
AC 14.
Okay.
You use the D20.
This one?
Yes, that one. What did you want a refresher on?
Oh, I'm looking at my gig sheet on D&D Beyond and seeing what kind of what Flurry Blows does. You get 2 more hits, right?
Correct. Yes, gives you 4 attacks.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to punch 4 fools. On one, I got a 15. The other 17. And then an 18 and a 19 plus 6, so in the 20s. Sorry. Yeah, probably actually gonna say sorry.
Really? Okay.
Do I need to roll for damage?
No, you do not need to roll for damage. See, we're using minion rules, so these have 1 hit point. A hit is enough to bring down. Not using any kind of like sword or anything like you're using fisticuffs.
I'm specifically going for non-lethal damage.
Okay, so we're not dealing with any splash damage or not splash cleave damage from like great big sweeping strikes. Things
My
like
homebrew is if you can also, if you want, add that if you're fighting with 2 weapons or fighting with 2 attacks.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah.
That was our homebrew because we're like it's more cinematic that way.
Sure. Yeah. You're like punching people into others. There's a lot of them, so you can sort of like, you're hitting one and throwing them into another. This is a more cinematic action sort of.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah, and a lot of it is like them like jumping on somebody, kneeing him in the face, and then jumping off that person into the next person. Because
Mhm.
I'm also moving forward.
Right. So you leave a pile of about 4, if not, actually, I don't know. If you roll damage, you might leave quite a few more of them on the ground right there at the gate, as Nizen escapes from the town. One last for those who were ranged, and then the one group who was still engaged with Nizen are taking their attacks. Let's see here. So it looks like it's going to be 2 ranged hits for Nizen.
I'm going to negate one of those as my reaction.
Okay.
Using the deflect missiles.
Sure. And if you roll that, I think if you get more than that die, you actually throw it back at them or something. And then 2 meleeers hit as well.
17 damage prevented, so I'm not sure how that would work with the system, but
That's enough to negate it.
Yeah, I'll catch it and just break it in front of him, and then just keep going.
All right. From where Mur is hiding, you can see first Gildon, and then a few moments later, Nizen bolting out the front, and they are followed by people on the walls shooting at them and attempting to continue to pick them off. What's the plan?
I've got 30 HP left.
Okay.
Gildon, I hope you're happy.
Yeah. Nizen runs out. He's got like pin cushion. Ikki's still in. You don't see Ikki.
As they are closing the gates, Ikki stops walking and she stays in town.
All right. Nice. Everybody seems to just,
Yeah.
like, oh, how dare that? But there is a lot of, there seems to be a lot of confusion that's reigning, especially as to like what to do.
I imagine from where Mur is like hiding on the skiff, like she sees Gildon and Nizen, and then like the gates are closed and she just sees Ikki stop walking and just like watch the gates close.
Ikki?
I'm not tuned in.
Oh, you tuned out. She'd be like, dang it.
All right.
Are they chasing like out after him, or do they stop at the gates as well?
They are shooting at them right now. The gates haven't reopened. It doesn't look as though anybody's followed them out. So at the moment it looks like they're fleeing and no one has.
I'm like spyglass distance away. I'm like,
seeing them. Yeah.
I ain't being with an eye shot. I'm not gonna be that stupid profit murdering getaway driver.
Inside, it seems as though that there are some who are they don't know what to do and are sort of just panicked. But there does seem to be a group that has it together enough to mount a pursuit of Gildon. But they were not ready for this, and it's taking them some time to get their mounts.
No one's ready for Gildon.
Player to player, Mur, your intention was to take over the town?
Yes. Yes.
So here's how I recommend we play this. I create a jerky Gildon that you take as a slain Gildon with the profit in return, and behold that you have slain one and can restore the other.
So you have to sell more on this.
Yeah.
Saint
Just
Mur.
sitting there looking at you at half health going, why don't I just wait till you revive?
Saint Mur.
Yeah, you like get all the way up there.
Right. Yeah, they're going to pursue before you'd reach where if Mur's that far away that you need a spyglass to see what's going on, they will be in pursuit before Gildon or Nizen get to where they don't even. I mean, assuming they move.
Unless there's like a good rock outcropping to hide behind, she'd be spyglass distance away. Like if it's just flat.
It's mostly flat, but there are rocks. There's the occasional outcropping or sort of like low rise that you could use.
If there's a big enough low rise, she'd be parked just right on the other side.
Okay. All right. So they're all right. Give me just a second to think about something. You guys plan your next move. I need to check something real quick.
Things are moving
Amongst
quick around
yourselves.
Chat, role play amongst yourselves. All right.
here.
I'll give you the
Croix
subject.
No.
Yeah.
Ellie.
Yeah, Zen's gonna reach out to Myrn telepathically and be like, "I'm sorry, I helped him."
I'm sorry I helped him. You just get like almost a dial tone. Just
my barely there nose is bleeding, and I'm just like,
The telepathic signal like automatically censors out bad words, so it's just like a busy signal.
and can you believe the bees?
you don't know better than.
Oh.
It's 90 days in the bleeping wasteland with this beep, 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 beep. You should know.
All right.
I'm so happy.
Guys have
Why is it Dickie with you?
I don't know why. I feel the need to protect him. Another
Are you
dial tone?
compelled by Ling to protect Gildon? That would suck. Keep this green one alive.
keep them alive. So you feel Nizen feels compelled to protect him. Ikki, you can
Like
see that,
how compelled?
yeah,
That's the
yeah, like
response.
yeah, how compelled?
Like how compelled?
I don't fully understand what you mean.
Like if, say, someone was to shoot him, and you were standing next to him, and what would you do?
Well, I have this class feature where I can prevent range damage.
I'd say obviously stand there and take arrows. As he's like, that's what we do.
The answer to the question would be
Just out of curiosity.
I don't know. I consider you all my only friends. I would probably protect him
Good.
as well.
Good to know.
Okay.
All right. So here's what happens then. It takes a minute or two. So we'll call it 2.
Okay.
2 minutes of movement and a chance to communicate telepathically, find a place to hide, that kind of thing. But there is a small group of what are clearly, the hunters and sort of, warriors of the village who have appeared on mounts. And these are typical sort of like wasteland war beast mounts. Looks like most of them are some sort of weird dog lizard type creature, sort of a canine lizard type thing. But they have weapons. They have and a speed as the gates reopen, and a group of 5 of them. One of them on a slightly bigger mount. It seems like a different type of creature. Looks more like an ape lizard than a dog lizard. Make their way out into the desert in pursuit of Gildon. So Nizen and Gildon can see this. They can see the gates opening. You can see that there are mounted pursuers coming after you. That's where we're at. They will be on you in, I don't know, that depends on what y'all did within the last 2 minutes.
In the words of Butch Cassidy, who are those guys? They keep chasing us as we run away. How far away are they?
Well, that's the thing. Like, are you just like still?
I'm booking trying to find the skiff because I ain't got to get out of there. This prophet gotta raise them and keep them as. There's 2 ways I look at this. Because I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You can raise them and question them and pump them for information. You can convert them to a different religion because preachers do that all the time. Or
Sure.
I can chop them up and sell them for relics to holy people. Just, hey, here, have a prophet finger.
That's very true. Relics is another. It's a survival test to find the air skiff's tracks. But otherwise, you don't see it. There are plenty of places to hide around here. And yeah.
All right. That's a 17 to find the tracks.
Yeah, you find them. They're fairly fairly wide, right? They kick up a lot of dirt, so there's always disturbances in the dust where it's been.
Little dust trail.
Yeah. So you can see roughly where it went, and could follow it if you like.
I'm gonna go. I think I need to go deeper into the waste, and I think I need to go alone. Here's the problem. I know Myrrh is very upset with me, and I have to take a longer way around.
You gotta do penance.
I wouldn't go that far. I think Gildon is great at hiding. He's excellent at stealth. He's excellent at all sorts of things. So I know which direction the skiff's going. I can always scry on my companions as needed. I've tracked them across the land between two rivers before. I think what I need to do is I need to sneak off goblin style and hope to circle back with them later. I have sending spells. I've got ways I can be in contact with them.
Okay, which direction are you fleeing then?
Anti-Myrrh north. No. Okay. So she's going northeast. I'm going northwest.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think. Yeah, we can do that. All right. So you're fleeing sort of in a direction. We'll kind of nail down the details of that later if we need to. How about Ninizen? You have 2 minutes. It looks like Gildon has made the decision to. He found the path of where the air skiff was going, and then decides to go a different direction.
I'm gonna I'm gonna ask Myrrh. Where are you? I'm alone. Maybe.
What does alone maybe mean? That is not.
I've
You're
lost
either
sight-
alone or you're not.
I've lost sight of Gildon.
Oh. Fantastic. No sign of Gildon. Lost Ikki. You can breathe.
In the meantime, dash action.
Yeah, you're just booking it.
Yeah, get away from the town.
Okay.
I'm on a low rise. I'm over a low rise, and I'll describe where I parked the skiff. Get
Okay.
here.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll take you longer than 2 minutes to get there, but you can make a real headway in that before the pursuers begin making their pursuit. So during this time that's all taken, what is Ikki doing in the village?
I think that Ikki is not a very emotional person, but she's got a lot going on in her head right now. Like, her only blood relative has been murdered. Not too long ago, one of her friends died. She's embraced this new nature path of druidism. She's got a kid who might be going through puberty or something now. She's so much bigger and stronger after these 90 days. I don't know what's going on.
She's a wiser person.
And she's so moody all the time now. And there was a very set. Ikki is going along for the ride and knows that as long as Ikki is doing what Myrrh and Ellie want to do, then that is fine. But today, things went kind of sideways, and Ikki for the first time was like, I don't want to follow Myrrh out of this village. I don't want to leave. I'm going to stay because I have something that I want to do and I want to focus on it. And I'm going to do what I want to do. So she really needs some time to herself right now.
Okay.
You said the gates just reopened and there's a lot of people leaving and going after them on mounted.
Yeah, it looks like there's one group now and potentially others that are mounting up to follow, but there's one group that's waiting to get out of the gates and are about to pursue.
Okay, I know I have the lizard charm, so I'm not even concerned about that. What's the communion hall look like? The communion room.
There are some people still back there who are just sort of looking at any sort of damage or anything. Most people are on the walls and sort of looking. A lot of the Outlanders are packing up their stuff and leaving. A lot of the visitors here, like, well, we don't want to be around when.
What about the tent with the bones in it?
Yeah, there was a handful of people just hanging around that one.
She's gonna make her way over there. She's just kind of like aimlessly walking through the town right now because it's like, first of all, she acted out of spite without like ever taking into account that Mur would leave her.
Yeah.
So like she doesn't know what betrayal feels like, but she's kind of feeling kind of dumb too. Like, I did this incredibly emotional thing that I've never done before, and I'm being punished for it. Which, like, Mur's just doing what Mur would do in any circumstance, but
Sure.
Ikki, for some reason, is just like, I don't know why I did that. That was dumb. So she's kind of like wandering aimlessly in this town. So she'll go back to where the bones were and see if she feels any different.
I mean, like the bones of the, like where along the wall, or where they were in the
where the magnetic pull bones.
You feel the similar just sort of predatory gaze that you just haven't been able to shake since you walked through the gate.
How's my amulet feel about it? Is it a similar frequency, quote unquote, like
similar
aura?
Yeah, it's similar. I mean, your amulet always felt personal and close, and like the predator was on your side, or like or at the very least like guiding you in some way. This feels more like if it could, it would get you. It just can't.
Do I know what kind of bones they are?
Oh, they look remarkably like the bones you found in that one mountain.
Okay, so
Yeah.
spooky dragon bone.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, that's what they look like. Certainly.
The spooky bone.
Same size, same sort of. They look different. They have an appearance of ossification or some kind of fossilization, but they are the size and type that you've seen before.
This is such like, okay, this is a ridiculous question. Okay, it's not a ridiculous question, but it may be expecting too much out of this spell.
Okay.
Is there any way that, because Ikki doesn't focus on like plant druidism, is there any way that she can kind of like harness druid craft to tell her something about these bones? And like kind of hone in on how she feels about her amulet and stuff. Was this a bigger dragon? Is there something about my dragon that made it, I don't know, metallic and thus inherently good?
Yeah, I see.
Is it like a territorial feeling that I'm getting?
Oh yeah, definitely a territorial feeling that you're getting. I think you would. You're looking to use like the druid craft.
Yeah, like druid craft doesn't really do anything. It's mostly like
sunrise,
like yeah, predestination and thaumaturgy effects. But I was just wondering, like.
I like where you're going with it. If you spend some time and sort of like feeling it out, right? Like it sounds like Ikki's feeling maybe a little introspective, a little thoughtful in a way that is uncharacteristic. But if you like sort of spend some time with the bone, the sort of the feeling of it and what you experience, you're sort of just innate druidic magic that you're learning to unlock can teach you some stuff. The bones here have a electric energy to them that the bones in the other mountain did not have. The bones in the other mountain and the amulet that you wear, the feeling is distinctly that of fire, of a burning, of heat. This is a electric energy in the air. It's a subtle pull on any metal that you have. It just sort of like vaguely is attracted towards where the bones are.
Oh, I get it. Lodestone. Huh, that's
and it just kind of is a like I said, it's like it's almost as if you could taste it on the air.
Okay, like a metallic, like coppery, maybe,
Yeah.
or I guess irony.
Yeah.
'Cause, irony. No. So
So at this point, like
Yeah.
most of the hubbub has sort of not died down, but a lot of the Outlanders have left. Most of the people that look like they're here are focused entirely on either searching or staying at the walls.
mhm.
And you find yourself walking around the buildings and largely being ignored and the like. So for the rest of you, Gildon has made his way one way across the desert. At some point, Nina's in you rendezvous with Myrrh.
Question is,
Mhm.
do these pursuers track or follow Ninizen, or do they follow Gildon's tracks?
That's a good question. So, they get to where the Gildon and Ninizen split up, and you see that they're paused there for a short period
Mhm.
before it looks like they split up into twos.
Mhm.
A pair of them look like they're following Gildon, and then a pair of them are following Ninizen, and then the fifth one is staying there to
Okay.
wait for the other pursuers.
All right. In that case, Mira's gonna kind of be like, and she's gonna like she's been like having the skiff there like in park, like or like neutral, just ready to go.
Yeah.
She's gonna kind of like swing it out so they approach from a different direction towards the town. She's going to be like, I don't think you should show your face there, but we're not leaving, Ikki. So,
Can you
shh,
disguise us?
don't. And she's just gonna use like some disguise bit on you, but she's also gonna turn you invisible.
Yeah.
That works.
And then she's gonna use her racial and disguise self, because she wasn't seen leaving the town, so she figures she should look like somebody else entering. And because the only two other visible people on this skip are humans, Berthic and Ellie, she's gonna disguise herself as like
Oh yeah.
random
But
human.
Berthic at this point wears a full mask and get up, so he looks more like. I mean, most
Okay.
people mistake him for a hobgoblin.
Yeah,
when they-
Mer will disguise herself as a Drowlin.
Okay. Hobgoblin with a
the
weird
accent.
accent. Okay, so Mer looks like a drow.
And then just drive up to the town.
And so as you guys are making your way back to town to potentially rescue Ikki, for Gildon, then you've got. Let's
don't know.
see.
Also,
yeah.
how many times can the mom scribe all be used a day?
Ooh, I think it can be used anytime. I don't think there's a
Okay.
limit on the number of times you can scry with the crystal
Then
ball.
I definitely scry on Ikki first. Be like, she alright. Have they eaten her?
Yeah, she seems fine. Just walk around
Okay.
town.
And then
And then make your way there. So Gildon, give me an idea of your plan.
Okay, so I'm either gonna keep making my way into the unknown with this body. I'm gonna raise it as an undead servant, because that could be my brand. I don't know. Well, they got to be careful when they introduce religion into these parts. It's not
very
safe to be
true.
called a prophet.
So you're sorry.
Chariot of fire might come down from heaven.
So you're going to animate him out in the other.
I don't know, because here's the thing. He has information, and I wasn't fully aware of the circumstances, and I didn't know the scene, and I probably should have asked questions instead of making a joke when I was coming from a place of deep emotion and pain for chat. That was actual pain. So it's like, yeah, I'm just going to do this thing. Then it was like, do it. And chat said, do it. It's like, I'm doing it. It was like, all right. I'm wondering how goofy it would be to just be like, you're my Skeleslave now. Come, Skeletor. And It says the game master has his stats. I assume it kind of means skeleton, but it's say the creature skeleton. It's one of those things where this might be the opportunity for a NPC ally.
So you're, yeah. I mean, there's certainly ways to create more intelligent and useful undead than just a skeleton.
Yeah, it's the animate dead. It's one of those things. Or I could raise him. I could raise him from the dead. I'm worried. That's probably the proper way to do it. Is me just confusing him and bamboozling him and being like, "Keep running with me! They're after us! Right. I saved you from the wreckage. Fire came from heaven. He never saw me."
Well, that's the other thing, right? He didn't see you, so yeah, and it doesn't seem to treat you as hostile whenever you have asked him questions. I think you have a couple left on the Speak with Dead. You have some time.
I have 4 left on Speak with Dead. Yeah.
You have some time, right? Like you don't need to make a decision about it now.
Yeah. Here's what I'm gonna ask him. Yeah, I'm gonna ask him if he prefers to return to his mortal toil, or does he wish to walk unlivingly, Mumra style. We put them in a coffin each night, little Thundercats.
Okay. Ooh. What's that? Yeah, that's all right. So
we could cast Enlarge on him every day. He becomes like a giant skeleton dude.
Sure.
Yeah.
They through cracked and charred lips, it replies that return me to the living. This is no existence.
You're no fun. All right. So I'm going to need to I'm going to ask him a couple other questions.
Sure.
I want you to... No, I didn't know Ikki... I didn't know this guy had any information about Rix or anything like that, so I'm not going to meta it. Well,
I mean, let's talk this through. Because you had a couple of days on the way here, right? Like, so it's not exactly like you guys didn't know why you were coming here, right? Now, why you would need to talk to this specific person is another matter, but you know why you were coming to Lodestone. To look for Rix, right? That's the last place Rix was seen alive.
Gildon might, Grant doesn't yet.
I gotcha.
But, okay, this was the last place Rix is seen.
Yeah.
I would like them to detail everything they know about Rix and what became of Rix.
Oh.
It replies, the bandit was drunk and foolish when he came to my village. There was an argument.
No need to editorialize. Sorry, no, continue.
It's like you can tell he's got an anger and a bitterness as he continues to talk. They were loud and smashed things. There was a fight with some of my warriors between their filthy cut purse crew. They went out into the desert, and afterwards one of them came back and took all of them away. But I don't think that they were happy about it. They traveled west.
Will you give me your word that when I return you to life, you will call off any pursuit of me and my allies? They're chasing after the one known as Ninizen. I do not know why.
Gildon is my favorite asshole. My favorite asshole.
Forgettable face cantrip.
Yeah.
Shift blame cantrip.
Right.
Yeah.
You need mask of many faces. There's a desperation behind it. Bring me back, and I will find whoever did this. My warriors will treat you generously if you return me to life.
I really want the last question to be skeleton or zombie. Sorry. Opa goblin style. Skeletor in the party would be
My
so
generals will treat you generously.
Beast man.
Beast man.
All right, last question.
The last question is, what do they know of the Medusa's emissary?
The Medusa's emissary is a cunning and deceitful creature who prowls the wastes, recruiting for her army that she wants to rule the wasteland with. I want no such part of that.
Well, with that, I'm Raised Dead takes a whole freaking hour to cast.
Oh, yeah,
so
it takes
much
a long
easier
time.
to just turn him into a skeleton mummy and be like, march, march, my peon. Quick, give me a ride. Jump on his shoulders
Right.
and carry it back. Oh, there's my brand, and then there's the right thing to do. I'm going.
Now we're worried.
I'm sorry. I need a whole up. I might make chat vote on this. Party vote. Party, what would you prefer? I know you're not there, but this is player to player. Because I can go either way. I love skeleton NPC companions.
They are really fun.
Yeah.
I always want to play
on.
a skeleton PC.
Come on.
Personally, it's on the list. I think you've gone a full way. I would say, it'd be funny, and Gildon likes to be funny, of raising him. But also it'd be really funny if we had a skeleton animal, human companion, goblin companion.
Yeah.
Was he orc?
What
orc.
was he?
He was an orc.
Okay.
Oh,
Heavily scarred and
big old orc. Oh man.
Yeah, he's paunchy. He's paunchy.
Mm.
Love.
What says Lindy and TK? I'm sorry for taking so much time on this.
No, you're fine.
This is really interesting.
This is not what I thought I'd be doing today. So really, it's a treat.
This is why we play this game.
I was like, this is,
Well,
I don't know what I thought would happen today.
yeah.
I say personally, go with your brand because
Mhm.
it's gotten you this far.
All right. With that,
There's a power vacuum right now,
Yeah.
so Marissa can't
honestly,
complain
this
either
feels-
way.
Yeah, that information.
Except for the fact that just the chaos that was created.
Yeah.
It's
Well-
that innate devil in her. She's just like chaos.
the fact that we can return and operate this zombie as our puppet, and my puppets just get more and more lifelike and elaborate over time.
Oh God. Oh God.
I'm sorry.
It's an orc puppet.
Yeah.
Sure. It is an orc puppet.
Gildon dated orcs for one night, and now he's like these.
Yeah.
This is horrible. This is like every serial killer. I will make orc puppets. Yeah.
Gildon's finally
Like-
snapped.
You just discovered that your brand was serial killer of the wastes.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Go
All
with it,
right.
man.
I'm animating Dead. I'm animating this guy, and he will be my. We can determine what kind of undead you want to make him,
Sure.
but I imagine. Yeah, he's Skeletor,
It's gonna be Skeletor. It's gonna be like a
and
skeleton.
I'm probably. You know how I always make my head glow flame? I kind of want to make his little skull face glow, and then he has his orc zombie body, and he's our little guy.
Yeah.
It's like a Ghost Rider.
Oh my God.
Sorry, Jim.
All right, that's okay. So while Gildon's off doing this, animating his corpse, you've seen writers go in the direction of where he went in pursuit. We don't really see him return or anything like that. Looping back to the to Lodestone, you find Murr and Denizen and the others find that the place is abuzz with activity. They're organizing search parties.
Wow, this is incredible.
And there's a stream of Outlanders and the like who are leaving, who are basically telling you to move on, some religious war or some kind. They just can't.
This sounds absolutely terrible. I'm supposed to be meeting someone here though, so I'll check to see if they're here first.
Good call. And in the confusion of people coming and going, there's really no one there to check the gate as you enter in.
Mm-hmm. I look for Ikki. I look near the place that I saw her last in the scribble.
Okay. Yeah.
Last place you saw Ikki, she was near a partially deserted food stand. So that is absolutely where you're gonna find her, eating her feelings.
Oh no! So yeah, you see this drow just walk up to you.
Aww.
She's got part of a goat leg sticking out of her mouth, and she looks at you.
Hello, Ikki. It's Murr.
Yeah, she pulls the goat leg out, and she just looks at you, and she's, I am sorry I ran away.
It is all right. The situation escalated very quickly.
She kind of just hands you a wet goat leg.
Thank you. I'll save it for later.
Are we going?
Well, I feel like we haven't quite accomplished what we came here for yet. And I believe we should investigate that a little further.
And there's something about her that's she's we do what Ikki wants.
Mm-hmm. So I was thinking, I forgot we had this for a moment. We could see if we can locate Rix's corpse with this.
Yes. We will see what he has on his body.
Mm-hmm. Or where it is. If he is a corpse, maybe they just left him out in the desert today. Who knows? Let us see.
It never occurred to Ikki that Rix might not actually be dead.
They never saw the body, so it is entirely possible.
Ikki's
Always
face is just she's just even though it occurred to TK, it never once occurred to Ikki that
yeah, Murr probably sees that as they never saw the corpse. You always bring back proof, so it's worth investigating at least, and so she'll try to.
I'll
Try to
bring
focus
proof.
in. With this sort of magic, that the closer the connection you can get with the target, the better.
Yeah.
It's
So she'll actually have Ikki hold the ball and kind of guide her through how to use it.
Let's see here. Okay. So the image appears in the globe.
No, yeah, it's a DC. Inspiration's gonna help. Just kidding. Haha.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's of some sort of dry gully of some kind, and there's a rocky outcropping that clearly a trail of dried blood is sort of moved from the gully to the outcropping, and you can see that Rix appears to be laying sort of on his back, propped up against a rock. There's several nasty wounds on him, but give me perception checks as you sort of see the image of Rix.
Josh, we're gonna have to talk about these dice.
On it tonight.
Why? Are they good or bad?
I just rolled a nat one.
I
have not rolled double digits all night, Josh.
I put my energy into those dice.
Yeah, Josh, let's talk about your energy.
We go into
Could
this
you
remote
please go
times.
to a spa or like a chiropractor?
Did I like give your dice a bad vibe?
I don't know. Josh.
Sorry.
In my defense, I did not roll them at all before the game, so
You didn't spin them
which
up.
I should.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got a
But-
19.
19.
Oh, you got a 19. I do
Yeah.
want to blame you though, Josh.
Oh.
Thank
I'm
you,
fine with-
Tabletop Loot.
I'm fine with that.
They're
Yeah.
been on fire, and I usually suck at perceptions. I'll take it.
Mer's not entirely certain, but you think you might have seen Rick's move.
I'm not positive, but I think I saw him twitch.
Ikki will look and say, sometimes the maggots get very big, so
I don't think it's been enough time to have maggots that big.
I don't know. Out in the wastes, they work very quickly.
That this is very true. Can I see where this? Can we like tell
Are they
like
in his
where this
lower
is
abdomen?
geographically? like if it's east or
Mhm.
yeah.
So you get a it creates a sensor within 10 feet of the target, and then you can just sort of see
Yeah.
outside of that. If you pan the sensor around and kind of get a feel for the landscape, you're
Mhm.
definitely in the northern wastes.
Okay.
Judging by, let's see here. You get the impression, like the sense of it is that it's west of here.
Okay.
Is the sense, just for like judging where the suns are,
Mhm.
where sort of the landscape, the features of it. That's what you would guess.
Okay. To the west of here. I believe he's to the west of here. Shall we attempt to track him down? If we heal him up, he will owe you a great favor, even more than he already does owe you.
I do like favors.
They are very nice. I operate heavily on them myself.
Okay, we will go. And Ikki
Right.
grabs like everything that she can from the food stall to take with them. It's just like a scarf of sausages.
I love it.
All right, so you guys get back on the skiff, head out of Lodestone, heading west, looking for Rick's body. Gildon has gone some direction northward, northwest, northeast, some sort of direction, and has, as far as you know, Gildon, you've successfully evaded pursuit. It's at least about an hour, and haven't seen anyone following you. Would you give me a survival check? Though.
And I rolled a goblin dice. That's great. Sorry. I said I rolled the goblin dice. That's great. Actually, the audience could hear me. You guys couldn't. So that is a 21.
Okay.
Oh.
You make your way through the wilderness just fine, right? Like this is, your home. And are
With
able
old Bone Bag. That's
Right,
his name
with
now. Old Bone Bag.
old bone bags.
I'm Bone Bag.
Go back.
All right.
He's been with us the whole time.
He's been with us the whole time. And so here we go. Gildon is traveling one direction through the desert. The party's traveling through another. Give me an idea before we close out here a little earlier than usual. What your character's doing in this last moment. So let's just finish up with Gildon. Where's Gildon headed? He's got a skeleton that's
Okay.
hanging out.
So yeah, he would be a zombie technically because he's a corpse, but he will have a skeleton
If
face.
you want to create a skeleton, you can just cause the skeleton to animate, and it would
Tear out of the flesh.
tear out all the flesh. Yeah, that's.
But
what
I
feel.
want him to have like He-Man action figure body.
Oh yeah. Well, then it needs to be a zombie then,
Yeah.
even though it's
Well,
vagabond.
Yeah.
What
Old
if
Bone
he's
Bags.
a zombie and then he like flexes once and he just like the skeleton pops out?
That's
I'm
his
sorry, I
final
put
form.
my hand on the mic, guys.
It's
That's
okay.
my beef.
Didn't hear it
You
bump.
could- Yeah, you can make him a zombie and then like burn his.
Well,
his face.
on brand. So, Old Bone Bag has tied like a Moby for a baby, and like Gildon's dangling in front, and Bone Bag's running through the desert. looping around to maybe catch up with maybe where Mur would be. And as Bonebag's running, Gildon's reciting to Bonebag his creation story, the creation myth. It all starts over again. This is the origin of Bonebag and where he came from and how he came into being.
So wonderful. I love it.
So you're attempting to rendezvous back with Mur.
Yeah, she's in Lodestone, right?
Yeah, I guess like the last time you would have been in contact with her.
I'd probably,
You'd see the skiff track. So last you saw, she was like just outside of Lodestone.
following the skiff tracks. The best I can, try to refine them.
They go here, they loop around, they go back to Lodestone, and now they're leaving and they're going west.
Yeah, they're going all over the place. Okay, so it'll take Gildon some time to find, but you've got magic, you've got skills. You will probably eventually find them. How about the rest of the crew? Where do we leave your characters as we come to a close?
Looking for Rix's body, or Rix. Maybe his, still breathing body.
Hopefully.
I feel like this is our brand, like as a group, for all of us to be riding on the skiff and for Gildon to be somewhere out in the desert. Like nobody knows where he is, but he's coming for us.
He's coming back.
He's coming for us.
Yeah, and then after about an hour, Nina's will be visible again, and I won't look like a drow anymore.
It'll be awesome. I just imagine, like, as Gildon is running across the desert, that like the Last of the Mohicans theme is playing.
Yes.
Like, no matter where you go, I will find you.
I love that song. That's why. Anyway,
It's a good movie.
Right.
Gene Dutch Cook.
I'm so
love that
sorry.
movie.
And we'll be driving the skiff real slow, so Ikki can look for blood and tracks and signs.
Gotcha.
Real slow, and I'd inspire her as well if it seemed like we're getting close.
Okay.
That's what we're doing, is combing the desert. Probably trying to look as much like the other people from Lodestone that are combing the desert. Just like, don't mind us. We are also looking for the Medusa's emissary.
Yeah, that's actually probably what murdered for that movie. If we see that traitorous bastard, keep an eye.
Oh, we'll tell you.
We'll drive real slow.
So as you like during this entire time, right? Like the imp who is will eventually have to get to what his message was. Is just
Yeah, I was wondering, like, are we like flashing back, or is this like the imp's just still hanging out with us?
We just didn't get to it. The imp is like on the dashboard, basically, sort of like sunning itself. But it's still in that sort of like feline-ish type of
all it's seen is like us going chaos, us come back in, out,
like,
leave.
I don't understand why you griping about Gildon.
I'll gripe with him.
Right. You guys are looking for Ricks posed as outlanders yourselves so as to avoid suspicion. Anything that that you're doing for Denizen, Josh?
I'm going to put on poorly a physical disguise. Is this technically nighttime, or are we in the day?
You're in the day, but we're out of the worst of the heat.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's the normal, but like we talked about, because you're not a desert native.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
You still have all the worry about all the extreme heat stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he'll remain covered, but he's going to take off his usual protection, which is his goggles and he's got the mask and the goggles and the scarf.
Yeah.
He's going to take those off and replace it with another scarf. I'm not sure.
Hood or something.
Yeah. Like just try to look like a different person. And
This is how you contour.
yeah, because he on one hand he feels guilty for like causing trouble and making his surviving people look bad,
Being an accomplice.
Yeah, he kind of considers himself like a what do you call it, a spokesperson for the servitors.
Sure. Representative.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, That's what he would focus on, and staying low. But more importantly, taking a short rest if I can.
Yes.
Because ouch.
Yes, you can. Yeah. I will. Let's see. Let's do this. As you make your way west and are scanning for tracks and just anything. I mean, Ikki, you would know that any like foot tracks or anything like that have been blown away by the wind days ago, right? So you're looking more for like dried blood, things like that. It'll take some time, but you've been traveling westward from the village for a while, and on the horizon is a column of smoke, rather large column of smoke.
Gildon.
And it is westward. It's coming, your guys are headed west, sort of straight ahead of you. But it's enough smoke as to suggest, like a place, a village of some kind had been set on fire. This isn't a campfire or even a bonfire. It'd be quite large. And that's sort of one of the last things that you really notice as you are traveling.
Any other nearby villages? Like, what's the next closest?
Yeah, you know that like there's another village directly west from Lodestone. It's like if you were to walk there, you could probably do it in a day. Like
it's probably the village. Mers just assumes that village is on fire, and she's like, "Not my business, not my problem."
It's the village is called Fool's Hope, and it's specifically a village of exiled arcanists who've been kicked out of the fellowship.
I like those people.
Oh no, I don't know. This burning village of magic users.
See if I can recruit anyone into my underground army.
Well, there we go. We have most of our party is off looking for a potentially dead lizard folk in the desert, while Gildon continues his escapades across the wasteland, earning quite the name and reputation for himself. Really appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight while we have some classic Dungeons and Dragons shenanigans. This was a great. I like this. This was a classic session, I think, because man, I did not see that coming. Fun times.
You're welcome.
Let's go around and tell us where we can find you online and any final thoughts you have for us. Linda, you want to start us off?
Well, boy, Jim, what happened? Mer's in a real interesting place mentally. Like, she wants to get Ikki some closure because she can tell this is something Ikki actually cares about, and Ikki's pretty indifferent to a lot of things. She's so mad at Gildon. Oh man, I can't wait to see how it all pans out. How everything's gonna go down
Nice.
in the future. Lot to process from her. She's just gonna stew and maybe venting out with some of it with this devil, but we'll see what happens. In the meantime, you can find me online at LaughLoveLindy on the Twitches and the Twitters. I play and DM in a bunch of tabletop RPGs all over Twitch all the time. In fact, in about a little over half an hour, I'm going to be DMing Dark Matter 5e on Scraticus's channel. Game's called Completely Legitimate Business. It's should be a lot of fun. It's the first episode tonight, so you don't miss anything, and I'm super hyped.
Excellent. Awesome. Grant, final thoughts, stuff you got going on.
Hi, everybody.
Anything.
My name is Grant Ellis. I'm an independent content.
You're muted.
Mm-hmm.
You muted yourself.
Yeah, I'm doing that so people can't hear me going constantly. So hi everybody, my name's Grant Ellis, and I'm an independent content creator for tabletop role-playing games and a producer here at the WebDM Twitch channel. Tomorrow night I will be running Invisible Sun on Tales from the Grim. It will be the Grammar of the Dark campaign, and then on Saturday I'm launching a new series on Encounter Roleplay with a game system I designed myself called Unrestful Hearts and the Garden of Glory, which is half of it is a GM-less, consent-based, improvisational storytelling game in the lines of Polaris or The King is Dead or Mobile Frame Zero Firebrands, the anime RPG. And then the second half is an adventure game with a game master where you play to find out what happens. So that's neat. I'm excited to run it for an audience. And I've worked pretty hard on it, so I hope I deliver. That's what I got going on.
Awesome. Looking forward to seeing that, seeing it in action. Excellent. And Josh, how you doing? Got anything going on you want to talk about? And any final thoughts?
No.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. There's stuff going on. Not really relevant. I will say that was really surprising as well tonight. Yeah, really kind of had a lot of crazy fun. Yeah, that's mostly it.
Excellent. Well, there you go.
Awkward 45 seconds over.
No, that's perfectly fine. Thank you. And TK, got any stuff going on? Well, you've got like all the things going on. So
It's me.
Come on, pimp it.
It's TK.
Woo.
I just want to I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. I'm not actually disappointed because when I saw the chat vote, I was like, oh,
yeah, chat.
yes. I don't know what you had planned for today, Jim.
I mean, I had some stuff in mind, but it's just, that's secondary to what actually happens. So,
but we're going to. This is going to be amazing. I was losing it. The notes are not as extensive as I thought they were going to be because I was just like, oh, oh, it's on fire. Oh, they're on fire. Oh, Gildon can't be critically hit. Oh, my goodness. Oh, goodness gracious. And it turned into Dragon Ball Z, and I was frankly here for it.
Yeah.
All right, spooky stories on the internet. If you like spooky stories, then you can go to tkjwrites.com or you can follow me on tkjoinsfrey on Twitter. I now have a schedule up of my streams. It is in my pinned tweet, so you don't even have to put in a lot of work to figure out where you will see me. But tomorrow I will be in 2 premieres. The first one, I'm very excited to go back to Modiphius's Star Trek with Scraticus and the DM Greg Grimjack, I believe is his. I only know him as Greg. So
Greg Stengel.
And so that's gonna be very fun. Perfection Shadow is the name of it, and I will be playing the Ensign Amat Val, and her sort of philosophy is you can't be afraid to try. So that's going to be very different from my amoral, very deadpan lizard folk person. It's going to be like, let's do it! Very anime heroine.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to go out there.
Yeah. And then I'll be premiering Tales from the Mist on Wizards D&D channel, which is our Ravenloft season that's just starting. We're very excited for that too. I have not slept more than maybe 10 hours a week for a couple months, but it's worth it because I'm very excited.
Excellent.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Yes, a little bit of this, huh? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes! Yeah, I got a whole little group.
There you go.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing raffles for the premiere, by the way. So we're gonna raffle off a complete set of.
Ooh. That's like a full. Is that like a full Tarok?
No, it's only the main cast, so it's 4.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
But
still really cool.
For people who didn't get them.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll ever do a full set, since Kayla hand draws these, but
if you ever do, that would be awesome. So
yeah, we're gonna start. We got a deal on some dice, so we have some Tales from the Mist branded D6s that we'll be raffling off in the future too.
Awesome.
Okay, that's enough. Buy my book.
There you go. Support our players, guys. Everybody out there is doing some cool stuff, and just doing that, grinding that grind. And we really appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out and exploring this weird, bizarre and yet still familiar D&D setting with us. So appreciate it. You guys have a great weekend, and we will see y'all on Tuesday for some Starward Bound. Catch you later, guys. Bye.